And welcome back to the studio. I am Ari Danica here with Bacchanalian and Brent, along with our guests, CCP, Fozzie, and Shadoom. And congratulations to CCP Fozzie for updating the first kill mill of the day. Uh, a, straight to the edge of glory, Duck Slayer kind of throwing a
Apparently,
match.
Rise made Foons too fast. They're just impossible to control.
They're those wild typhoons. Ah, darn you, Rise, who will be on next. So we get to talk to him about those wily typhoons. But I'm going to toss it to our studio commentators. What do you guys think about that match?
That was a very exciting match and a little bit of intrigue. Lucky CCS or Lurkin de Sol actually in the Scorpion Navy issue warped at 100. Tournament rules dictate that you can warp from 0 to 50, and if you warp to 100, the Fozzie will move you to 0. So he was on the beacon at 0 in an MJD Scorp Navy issue, looking down the barrel of 3 Megathron holes, and he just turned around, threw on the troll face, and MJD derange.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, this was just everything I wanted in a tournament match. We had the new battleship hulls with the Typhoons. We had the faction battleships that we lowered the points on, so we got to see those. We got to see micro jump drive, which we intentionally left, open in the rules. People asked us about that, and we got to see one. And then, of course, we had the ever-present, the Edge of Glory boundary violation by Duckslayer. To me, that match was easily won for Reputation Cartel, if not for that. And that was just really unfortunate for them that Duckslayer couldn't quite keep his foe. You saw him slowing down. He hit 120. Speed started to drop, but he coasted right on out.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic, 1v1 Drake versus Brutix. As long as you can keep the Drake out of Scram Web / Newt range, you're going to eventually kill him. And with the DPS of just a one Foon, he was riding on the edge of whether or not that he'd be able to take down Brutus Khan in the Navy Mega. So if they had 2 there, I think it definitely would have gone in favor of Rep Cartel.
And just like the sexy Scott Selderain pointed out, with the micro jump drive, it was the first valid use attempt. There was one yesterday, but it was kind of, pretty much a joke. But this was the first time that you saw it applied effectively in the tournament environment. And as our dear Elendar said, Shidu is certainly going to have something to say about this. So I'm just going to open the floor.
Well, we call this in Pandemic Legion pulling an elite Randolph, essentially having a superior setup, but going to the edge of glory and running right past it to essentially assure loss. I think Reputation Cartel essentially had the paper to Warlords rock in the game of rock paper scissors, but Warlords managed to set their rock on the fire and burn that paper right out. It's always, as we've said in tournaments, about 30% of the match comes down to how you're fit and what kind of fit and what kind of strategy you're coming to play with. But the other 70% still comes down to piloting. And Warlords, the Hydra team, is definitely very, very, very good at piloting, and they were able to outpilot the Reputation Cartel's superior setup to theirs.
When we talked about this right before the match with those bans, we're talking about the Tracking Disruptor, E-War Frig bans for Rep Cartel, and thinking maybe they'd bring missile boats, and sure enough, that's what they did. They come out with 2 cruise Foons and a Scorp Navy issue, so a little bit of metagaming going on there with the bans.
Yeah, that's definitely a good call. They're not really afraid of, especially because the way the bans go, I believe it's 1-2-1. So Team A will ban 1 ship, Team B will ban 2 ships, and then Team A will ban their last ship. So they get to see what the other team is banning, and what they were intrinsically afraid of in that setup is damps, because cruise Foons and a cruise Scorp Navy issue is not going to fare well under heavy damp pressure. So they got pretty lucky that there weren't bonus damps on the field. There were still damps from the other residual support frigs, but not any bonus damps.
Now, I do want to remind our viewers that we are doing our trivia contest and we will be selecting our winner after the next match. So, just a reminder of the trivia question: in what region is the Eve Gate located? And that prize is a Daredevil sponsored by Summer Blink. So, go ahead and check out Summer Blink at summerblink.com. And what you are going to do to enter your answer is send zero point 0.01 ISK to Miss Loot Gods, and she is in the SCL Space Chat channel. So it looks like we do have the bands in, and this is for semifinal 2, Insurance Fraud Inc. versus Pandemic Legion. And Insurance Fraud Inc. has banned the Loki and the Tengu, and Pandemic Legion has banned the Mollis and the Carries. So what do these bands say to you guys?
The Mollis and the Carries, knowing PL, if they have the Legion, or not the Legion, but the Loki and the Tengu band, that pretty much eliminates the Shield Tinker, or at least makes it a lot weaker. You can replace a Tengu for a Bassi and a Shield Tinker, but it's not nearly as strong. So my guess is the Damping Frigs are a bit suspect. The only thing I can think of is that they're trying to make sure that whatever ship that their armor tinker sentry drone set up, whoever they're assisting their drones to, they want to make sure that that person isn't damped, which will probably be something like a Myrmidon with a target painter.
Well, this looks exciting, seeing the ships landing on grid now, and I'm curious to see how this plays out again. This is not a given either way, I don't think.
Yeah, without giving too much away, I think that if piloted properly, then IFI can definitely take this one in the bag.
All right, so we don't want to give too much away because we want our wonderful EU commentary team to have that joy. So, but CCP Fozzie will be leaving us, unfortunately, but CCP Rise will be coming in, so he'll be able to tell us all about why he made those terrible typhoons so fast and wily. But thank you so much, CCP Fozzie, for joining us. I do want to make sure I mention you are so active within the community, and just thank you for doing this. But you are also a big champion of player feedback, and you are so busy on the features and ideas forum. So I just want to go ahead and plug that forum. You have several threads up about tons of great things going on with Odyssey. What are some of your favorite threads that you have going on right now?
Well, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got some changes to Tech 1 frigates and cruisers. We've got changes to resistances of ships with resistance bonuses, to tracking enhancers and remote sensor boosters. Also changes to faction frigates and faction cruisers. All of those, with the exception of some of the resistance bonuses, are on Sissy right now for people to test with. So we really want people to try them out. Let us know what you think in actual practice. And I'm watching all of those threads very carefully. Rise is also got threads up for the battleships, and we got threads for the Navy battle cruisers. So there's lots and lots and lots of stuff to comment on there. Before I leave, I want to just let all of our viewers know we are getting ready to start picking the commentators for the 11th Alliance tournament. So that's going to be coming up this summer. We are going to be announcing the call for commentators probably this week. So I want to make sure that anyone who's watching this, and I'm sure a bunch of the commentators in this channel are also going to want to apply, but anyone who's watching this who is interested in commentating, start thinking about that, start getting yourself ready, and we'll be doing an interview process for that starting very soon.
That's very exciting. And the Alliance tournament is such a great event. That is the event of events. Great PvP action. All of the alliances are trying to get in, and it's going to be wonderful to see that event this year. All right, but the teams are on the field, so I am not going to delay the fantastic PvP action any longer. Here is semifinal 2, round 1, Insurance Fraud Inc. versus Pandemic Legion here on SCL 3.